Hello, everybody. We are gonna do. I think I'm gonna record this off camera. The other one's gonna be off fucking mic that you only hear audio from. Get one retarded picture, but I'll go over everything that happened. WrestleMania 36. Odd to start off the decade. You don't even have an audience to watch it in person, and they were still able to make a shit show. People were trying to give it fucking high praise over the Kabuki Warriors match, the Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley match. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, even though the match ended off DQ from Seth Rollins, even ending it off fucking just ringing the ring bell. Somehow that's a DQ when many other wrestlers did it before, and all they did was a warning to just get back in the ring. I'm trying my best, bro. I'm trying my best for everybody that watched it. That I swear wasn't even that much. But thanks, no, thousands of people were in attendance to watch Mania. A lot more people were able to get the network so they can watch it. They should have canceled this event because most of these matches didn't deserve to be WrestleMania worthy. Most of these guys were either sick, substituted. Baron Corbin versus Elias didn't deserve to be a Mania. It was a makeshift feud from fucking late February, and this is a few weeks after his feud with Roman Reigns. There was no need for this feud to exist. Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. They could have canceled the tag team match in general, but people thought that the triple threat tag was okay. It was okay. It's a okay triple threat tag for tag team belts. And it was a one-on-one tag after The Miz was shown to be sick. So it was either just make everybody individually do it except cancel the match and leave it for next week. Or at least for a few weeks. We had like a lot of bullshit. We had, I think, some kind of front senton into an elbow drop. There was a toss into the ladder. Super kicks up the wazoo from the Uso. Kofi Kingston just came looking like fucking Lil Pump with his dyed hair with some pink detail. It was just gay. He looked stupid. It came off just somehow hitting John Morrison on the ladder, and then John Morrison just coincidentally enough held the two belts enough so he can grab him, loose him out the waist, and Mr. Morrison retained. Somehow Morrison retained the tag team titles. Kabuki Warriors lost to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the women's titles that haven't been defended since December of last year. And the match was just okay. It was like most of these matches felt like they were Monday Night Raw matches. Yes, it has to come to the less of a crowd and desperation to get, is this a feud? Is this a feud? Is this a feud? Like, I understand what you guys do, but most of this shit had no prestige. Sami Zayn beat Braun Strowman for the Intercontinental title, then Braun Strowman immediately goes to the WWE Universal title match that ended merely under five. That only had a collection of moves, but you expect that off a near 60-year-old Goldberg. So obviously he was trying to get either Roman over and Goldberg over, or Braun over off just a couple spears. They'll kick out, and underwhelmingly enough, does this make Braun Strowman stronger than Bray Wyatt? At this case, that I understand Braun is bigger, but Braun couldn't even beat Seth Rollins twice. One-on-one, fair, no interruptions. He had a match with him at Clash of Champions of last year, and I think he also had a rematch that he lost on Raw of nearly the exact same thing. Curb stomp, curb stomp, curb stomp, moonsault, moonsault, and pedigree. Exact same thing. It took 11 curb stomps when it took at least 6 to get rid of Brock Lesnar. Power scaling's bullshit, and that's what's going to happen with finishers are bullshit now on WWE. And I'm gonna get in a major rant when it comes into day 2 of WrestleMania. 2 roll-up victories against the King of the Ring and another one off the fucking Raw Women's title match that's supposed to be like they're gonna build up that Shayna got Becky escaped Shayna so they can drag this shit on. I don't even know if majority like the top NXT females that you wanted to get over on your company that's lacking of star power in the women's division. Thanks most of the rest of the bitches that you have are either injured, irrelevant, or completely retired before they even entered their prime yet. And it comes around sad as fuck to know that because you had Rhea Ripley lose to Charlotte via tap out, and you had Becky get stomped the hell out, power bombed, and tossed on the commentary table, gets stomped on nearly any time she can, and anytime she was trying to take advantage, Shane was just beating the ever-living piss out of her, and then she won via roll-up after trying to counter the Kikina clutch, and she reversed it into a pinfall. And I'm like, what was this supposed to show except that we know that these bitches kick ass? I know nothing about Rhea Ripley other than I was in the shadow of Charlotte Flair, all because they called me her back in Evolution. That's not a compelling thing to tell about. You could have just been like, I'm here to represent NXT. Going to a WrestleMania is going to bring NXT to the next level. The first time an NXT championship is ever going to be defended at Mania, probably the last. So that at least should do something for bragging rights' sake. And they were trying to tease this moment with Shayna and Becky since before Survivor Series of last year. So anybody trying to do prepubescent shit, like people trying to give like this cold demeanor that WWE wasn't that match, wasn't that bad. We had a total near 20 matches on 2 days, and they want to bring a minimum of 5 matches were good, and the fucking Firefight Funhouse match was interesting. I found it weird. It wasn't even a match. It ended off with an you know what? I'm gonna leave that for day 2. It's just not worth it, man. It's not worth it. None of these matches were worth it. Why was Corbin and Elias on pay-per-view? Just to remember that Corbin won a tournament that didn't even get anybody big since Brock Lesnar? For real, when's the last time you actually saw a person that needed a push actually got a push after winning King of the Ring? You can't. Sheamus was already a bona fide big time dude when he won the WWE Championship several months before this. And he won it on his first pay-per-view against John Cena. Why the fuck he needed a King of the Ring match to prove that? Someone explain? There was no need. Then we had Wade Barrett off the company. There was no need, and now it's Baron Corbin that hasn't even won a championship since winning that shit since August. And then he just randomly feuded with Elias and understood that he lost off some kind of 10-foot platform. Like, that's gonna take him out of action for months or weeks or so. And it just came off to Elias coming in. He hits Corbin like, I know headshots are banned and shit. He can't. It's a fake fucking guitar. And he comes around hitting it like it's a fucking steel chair. Dog, it was such a corny match. There was a deep 6. A couple selling up the shoulder because that's, I think, the part where he dropped. A couple lariats. It ended up with a roll-up victory on a Baron Corbin that hasn't been shown to even be a prime threat for a world title or so. So yet they make him lose via roll-up against Elias. That's literally a mid-card purgatory. Or anytime he'll probably get a forgettable US title or Intercontinental title reign. Because I guess they're still going to make Superstar Shake-Up a thing after Mania. Because WWE is so inconsistent in the shit that doesn't work and shit that does work. What else we also fucking had? Other than Gronkowski just winning the 24/7 title. Yeah, because Mojo Rawley's help. Sorry, I was trying to read the rest of the article from one part of this because I didn't get a good particular look because we've been having some technical difficulties over the streaming of WrestleMania, so I couldn't even see majority of the moments. So either way, I was just walking away so we can just grab something to eat. So I and to fix it later. We also had Kevin Owens jumping off the obvious platform. I think it was a senton through a side part of the stage, bro. Uh, that was a cool moment, but it was a secondary part of a match and just awkwardly made it no DQ. You know what I hated the most? The exceedingly weird dialogue to show that there's a fucking story. It was just fucking weird. Come on, Kevin. I told you, Kevin. This is too easy, Kevin. I had to hear fucking Daniel Bryan's breathing. I had to hear Corbin's breathing and screaming on a female ref. Somehow there's a history of that. And of course, Seth Rollins' monotonous screaming over a majority of the matchup. Over to even doing suicide dives. Even Daniel Bryan, where it looked like he was about to snap his neck the time he did a suicide dive on Sami Zayn. A bit of interference on Drew Gulak. I didn't even know he was kicking off the show against Cesaro. And then he lost. Other than that, why would there need to be a kickoff show if there was going to be 2 days of this for 3 hours each? So at least it's easy to consume until then. Most of these matches ended up quicker than possible, so they just did roll up after roll up to do a dragged out finish. It was just pointless. Most of these matches didn't even feel WrestleMania needed at all. Most of these things you could have done for Elimination Chamber or something. Hell, I would fucking watch it on Roadblock if you wanted to. And Roadblock ain't shit, and so isn't Fastlane. Kevin Owens' match was fine. You expect much. They'll just do the regular scheduled wrestling moves with a very little storytelling and an awkward DQ finish to end off. What the fuck was the point of the match? And then Kevin Owens just wins off the stunner anyway. There's a senton that nearly got a 2. A frog splash that got a 2. A couple curb stomps, a sunset flip into a power bomb. I'm scared every time Rollins did that because when he did the fucking sting, still don't forgive him for that shit. That's the dumbest thing that could ever be done. How can you not try to actually protect your older veteran that could literally off one wrong move could die in the fucking ring? Jesus Christ. Coming around, losing to this fat fucker. Yo, we also had a Universal title shot that ended with Braun Strowman, but somehow didn't get a plan for Mania. Probably we're trying to make this into a triple threat match or something, but I know they wouldn't, so they would just make Roman go over Goldberg, and it just ended up awkwardly there. So Braun Strowman probably was a substitute when they needed it. When I thought he was going to get a rematch for the Intercontinental title, and he held that for under a month. So now we'll watch him get an underwhelming Universal Championship because he was supposed to be the prime main eventer since 2017. It's now 2020. Comes around, failed jackhammer. You know the jackhammer is not going to work. He got speared at least 4 times and kicked out. While it barely took match and a jackhammer to beat. It took like 3 or 4 spears and then a jackhammer to get rid of Bray Wyatt. And undermine this man who survived a giant mallet to the face, a toolbox to the face, a steel chair shot to the face, a ladder to his body, 11 curb stomps, and kicked out of all of it against what was the primary top guy back in 2019, that was Seth Rollins. And then he comes around losing to old ass fucking Goldberg in under 10 minutes. And now here comes old ass Goldberg losing to Braun Strowman that hasn't been treated like shit and even treated a tiny bit worse than Bray Wyatt. So yeah, it just ended up monotonely quickly. It was dumb. I mean, I don't expect every match to be like a 10-minute clinic. I'm not expecting that. I just expect logically a reason how to do this. Like, it's either Braun Strowman beats Goldberg off 2 power slams or something, and somehow you still think of treating a near 60-year-old man like he's fucking back. We're back at 90 fucking 8, and he still has a streak or something. And I guess it was supposed to prove a point for one thing that some guy isn't strong, and he comes around losing the finisher fests because they do the exact same world title finish the next night, back on day 2, when he lost when Brock when fucking Drew McIntyre won the WWE Championship, and I just saw a fucked up meme that showed that 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 Spider-Man meme involving like them pointing to each other, and it showed like both of the world title matches at Mania, because it's the exact same fucking thing, just different people. It was the exact same thing. It's just an uninspired, dumb, desperate finish to try to push 2 guys of being strong when you know when it comes to the full-time wrestlers wrestling against each other, it's way different. It's part-time old fucks, and a majority of the highlighted matches were dudes in their 40s. The fuck? Like, I'm not trying to undermine most of the guys that work hard to build this business, but now it's 2020, and we still have fuckers like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar still pushing up the card, because it's either they can't hack it, or creative literally has nothing for these idiots like Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre that you can't push them against some of the other top guys, like McIntyre versus Rollins, or Strowman versus Roman, or Strowman versus The Fiend, or Cena versus The Fiend for the Universal title in a dumbass little fucking Firefly Funhouse match. This ended up with the regular Bray Wyatt pinning him. So I guess that technically counted as a win, as like a TED Talks of you should have got me over back in 2014. Wrestlemainia. That's literally the premise of the Firefly Funhouse. I'm gonna recap majority of your career. You suck. Your rapping gimmick was gay. Fuck you that you're muscly, and you're an actual marketable dude in the company. When a guy like me, I need to get over. And Cena obviously took it as it is. He literally expressed his opinion to the most overhyped, overprivileged, and overrated superstar in the WWE, and he wants the top talent to succeed. He wants the young talent to succeed. No one should give a fuck about Bray Wyatt at the point. I agree with that statement, but it ended up still making the same shit that every other Bray Wyatt does. Make it mysterious, make it whimsical, try to make him speak his own gibberish message that made no fucking sense. It doesn't do anything except make John Cena look good. He comes around referencing fucking. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go over the rest of this. I gotta stop before I get pissed off some more, because that makes me go on a huge rant. It just. Braun Strowman's Universal Champion. Okay, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. And we also have the Boneyard. It's just a buried alive match. If you guys don't catch it, if you guys somehow don't catch it, you're either retarded or you are confused as much as most of us are on what the fuck a Boneyard match is, or why you had to change it from what the fuck a buried alive match is, because the last time they had it was 2010's bragging rights against Kane and The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship, that I think The Undertaker lost with help by the Nexus. It's now 2020, and we are so PG-ified that we can't do something as saying buried alive without thinking we're going to get a lawsuit in our ass, because probably we're going to be sued for endorsing necrophilia at this point in professional wrestling. So we could just take it how it is. I thought the match was cool. I have a positive. Other than some of the unwatchable schlops that we watch for a majority, I didn't mind the Boneyard match. Holy fucking shit, that's so terrible to say. It's weirder enough that we had also dumber finishes when Sami Zayn beat Daniel Bryan by I think they wanted to call it. He caught him with a haluva kick. I thought a haluva kick was a running finish. I didn't expect it to be a standing finish. It was just a big boot. I thought that would be so basic to counter things. And, you actually need a skinny guy like that, like Sami Zayn, to actually pick up momentum and kick a dude in the face. So shouldn't that be more basic? It's just dumb. That's why I didn't pay no attention to Daniel Bryan. I just wanted somebody to actually make the Intercontinental title look prestigious for once, because it literally hasn't been important since Miz held it, and that was when I think Jinder Mahal or Dean Ambrose was WWE champion. We had fire, we had badass gimmick back, actually punching, just punching, choking. Styles trying to kick the shit out of everything. There was fucking druids that became Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. There was a cool thing where we thought it was the Undertaker, but it was cool. It was fine. It was awesome. I thought every part of the match was awesome. The fire out of nowhere, Undertaker coming out of the grave after Styles tossed him in there, and it just came into him mystically being on the farming machine, and tossing and keep beating the crap out of him. I kept getting pissed off when he kept saying "boy," because obviously, and get on, boy. We ain't finished, boy. Referencing what's my wife's name after choke slamming him, through the house and shit, over the house and shit. Beating Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. That's obvious gonna happen because Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are not proven. They're not proven to be anything, and they're like 3-time Raw Tag Team champions, and still nobody takes them seriously because the belts are more disposable than the future the cum stain you spit out of your mouth. And Styles lost off a big boot after getting chokeslammed through the house, and obviously that would probably end anything at that point. So it just ended up with Styles losing. Period of life match. Then his glove pops out just to sell more merch of his dumbass glove that does this. Like NFL Nike gloves show more pride than Styles' dumbass gloves. Undertaker comes around doing this. It was cool. They had some Kid Rock in that bitch. It was a badass fight that ended off a pseudo personal feud that I guess got Styles over somewhat, even though the guy already accomplished as much as he did. He's already an established dude in the part that he's a great wrestler and he can make stuff entertaining when he has a chance to. I don't particularly like the show at all. I thought it had the minimum of entertainment at least in some of the matches, especially the Kabuki Warriors against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, because most of the match was fine. About the playfulness of the Kabuki Warriors, just dancing and shit like little Asian retards after post Nagasaki bombing. That sounds offensive as fuck, but I don't care at this point. It's late, and I don't give a fuck at this. It's just agitating. It came off a twisted neck breaker into a twisted bliss. I mean, yeah, and it just came up so underwhelming. Most matches were either forgettable or just night two would be a tiny bit better. It would be because most of whenever people bring up night one, they just bring up the fucking boneyard match because of the American Badass gimmick came back for one more night, and it had some cool set pieces. Had him disrespecting his wife. It had more of a personal matter, and obviously Undertaker would try to change himself. Other than him just being like, "Come here, AJ," At least we actually get personality off the Undertaker, or something he's legit comfortable with, and it was a different change of pace than them just punching around the ring and shit out of nowhere for a match that obviously should have been bigger. So this is one of the better set pieces because somehow edited staged wrestling is better than the current in ring show that we have live in a fucking performance center, where obviously is not going to bring it as a bigger nuance than a full packed stadium where you can watch the top wrestlers do their shit. So that's pretty much it. WrestleMania date night WrestleMania 36 night one gets a 3 out of fucking 10. Other than the Boneyard match, most matches were either rushed, dumb decision, poorly made in ring ideas, looked dumb, didn't seem that big at all, had a weird finish. There was no point of Sami Zayn still retaining the Intercontinental title because I thought this thing with him and Nakamura and Cesaro, how it's supposed to be like a faction of, I guess, underdeveloped talent on the main roster, made no fucking sense. The Universal title match was terrible. The Raw Women's title match was retarded. It was. It really was. Dumb. It was dumb. It was even dumber to, like, you push this girl and she comes around wiping off the entire division and just, and oh my god, it's just so retarded. Oh my god. Nothing about, barely anything about the show made it watchable, memorable, or even exciting other than the dumb looks Kofi Kingston had, or the dumb intro WrestleMania had. That they even said the same intro. I understand it's the same show, but they didn't even change the intro up a tiny bit from night one. I guess to show what the fans were missing from the other night, even though you had 2 nights of this and who endorsed the network religiously to show a top of the line pay per view and the biggest pay per view of the fucking year. And even Vince disagrees with the note that, wait, we get my biggest show out for free on my streaming service. How's that gonna build people to actually pay for my shit? It's dumb. But at that case, if you're going to be buying a pay per view for wrestlers to fight in a secluded area where there's nobody around, no hype, or barely any celebrities, what makes this the biggest show on turf than just showing wrestling? And just two dumb, pre recorded bullshit matches at all. I'm obviously agitated of night one, but at least some of the stuff was a bit entertaining. So that's practically it coming from night one of WrestleMania 36. I'll get back up to you in WrestleMania 36 Part 2 or Night 2. Either way, Night 1 was terrible. Thank you for watching, guys. Oh, wow.